Hey creeps, it's Cameron again, and welcome back to Library Macabre. I'm here to show you my Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys collection. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, I've had a lot of requests to do a Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys bookshelf tour. I'm going to start with the Hardy Boys books, which are all on these top 3 shelves, and then I'm going to switch over to the bottom 4 shelves, which are all Nancy Drew, as well as my top and bottom shelves of my children's vintage mystery collection. On those shelves, I have some other vintage mysteries like Trixie Belden, Judy Bolton, Beverly Gray, Bobbsey Twins, all of those kinds of books. So I'll show you those at the end of the video as well. So we are starting all the way at the beginning of the Hardy Boys with The Tower Treasure. This is the first book in the Hardy Boys series, which was published in 1927 originally. I have my original copy from when I was a kid. This is the one that I read multiple times growing up. This is the blue flashlight edition, as they are commonly known, and they are still in print, I believe. And then this one here is published by Applewood Books. This was published in 1991, and this is actually a facsimile of the original 1927 edition. So starting in 1991, Applewood Books came along and they started to reprint these reproductions of all of the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books. I say all of them, but that's not true. They actually only published the first, I believe, 16 books of the Hardy Boys series, and then like the first 20 or so books of the Nancy Drew series. Sadly, these are out of print now, but you can find these for pretty inexpensive prices online. I try to collect first editions of these, which are a little bit rarer, and they can fetch upwards of $30 to $50, $60. But if you want just any old printing of any of these books, they could cost you just a few dollars. This includes the original text from 1927, and then in 1959 they revised all of the stories, and those are the ones that are in print today. Those are the ones that are in these blue flashlight editions. So there's book 1, The Tower Treasure. Next is book number 2, The House on the Cliff, which was always one of my favorites as a kid. Number 3, Secret of the Old Mill. Number 4, The Missing Chums. Number 5, Hunting for Hidden Gold. The Shore Road Mystery, that's book number 6. And I also have another edition of this, which is this one right here. This is a very old edition that is missing the dust jacket. This was originally published in 1928. I do not have a first edition. I believe this edition is from the 40s. This copy has been passed down in my family for many, many years. And while this isn't worth very much because it's missing the dust jacket, it's a later printing, and the end papers are starting to separate from the actual text block, it's got a lot of family value, so I'm keeping it for that reason. Next is book number 7, The Secret of the Caves. Number 8, The Mystery of Cabin Island. Number 9, The Great Airport Mystery. Now, eventually, I would really like to get first printings of all of the Applewood books, and then from that point, I would like to get all of the first editions of the original books, and then also get first printings of all of the revised editions. That's going to take a lot of time and money, obviously, so I've not gotten that far. I still just have my regular old flashlight editions. So here we have What Happened at Midnight, which was one of my favorite covers growing up. While the Clock Ticked, that's book number 11. Number 12, Footprints Under the Window. And keep watching because I do have a lot of Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys first editions. They're a lot more exciting than these plain old editions. So we have The Hidden Harbor Mystery, The Sinister Signpost, and I have 2 copies of book number 16, A Figure in Hiding. I have my regular flashlight edition from when I was a kid, as well as the first printing of the Applewood edition. Of course, this contains the original text, and this one is the revised edition. Number 17, The Secret Warning. Number 18, The Twisted Claw. 19, The Disappearing Floor. Number 20, Mystery of the Flying Express. And this one's pretty interesting. This is number 22 in the series, The Flickering Torch Mystery. This is a much older edition. It's not a first printing or even a first printing of the revised edition. It's just an older book. And this is a very strange error edition because, as you can see, if I hold up one of the other books like this, you would see that they have this text here, and this one is missing the text. I don't know what happened there, but obviously it was some kind of error. Next, I have a first edition, first printing of the Short Wave Mystery. This is in pretty decent shape. I mean, it's definitely seen some better days, but it's just really cool to have a first edition, first printing of such an early book. This one was published in 1945, and it is a wartime book, as you can see, because on the title page here, it says, "This book, while produced under wartime conditions in full compliance with government regulations for the conservation of paper and other essential materials, is complete and unabridged." So this is obviously a wartime book, meaning that the paper quality is not very good. It's very brittle and brown. So unfortunately, books that were published in the early 40s to the mid 40s they don't hold up too well just because the materials were not as high quality. Next is book number 27, The Secret of Skull Mountain, a first edition, first printing of book number 28, The Sign of the Crooked Arrow. This is in beautiful condition. This was published right after the war era, so this one is much better quality. So we've got that beautiful wraparound dust jacket. There's an advertisement for Tom Quest on the back, which I never read, but I always heard about those books. Here we have 2 editions of book number 29, The Secret of the Lost Tunnel. This is my original blue flashlight edition, as well as yet another first edition, first printing. This was published in 1950. It's in beautiful condition. Has all of the signs of being a first printing, as well as an inscription on the first page there, dated 1950. So obviously the book was released in 1950, so that makes it pretty easy to tell that this is a first edition. Here we have number 30, The Wailing Siren Mystery, an older edition of number 33. This is the Yellow Feather Mystery. I much prefer these older editions over the glossy blue flashlight editions. I think these just have a much better feel overall. I like the matte finish on the covers. Here we have a first edition, first printing of The Secret of Pirates Hill. This is book number 36. It's in pretty nice shape. There's a little bit of dust jacket wear and tear on the spine, but the book overall is pretty decent. Next, we have a first edition, first printing of The Haunted Fort. This is book number 44. And of course, as you can see, by this point, they had switched from the dust jackets to just printing all of the books in these editions. So it is a first printing. It's not in the best shape. I would like to get a better one at some point, but I actually found this for next to nothing at a library book sale, so that was pretty cool. Next, we have a first edition, first printing of number 50, Danger on Vampire Trail. And next, we have 2 different editions of number 55, The Witch Master's Key. So we have my copy from when I was a kid, as well as a much older version. This isn't a first edition, but it's still nice to have an older copy. So those are all of the books in the original Hardy Boys series. And now we're shifting on to the trade paperback editions. So in the late 70s, the rights for the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books shifted over to a different publisher, in this case, Wanderer, and they did a bunch of these paperback editions. They're not as nice, of course, as the hardcovers, but from what I remember, they're still pretty good stories overall. So we have number 59, The Night of the Werewolf. I have 2 different editions of book number 61. Here is The Pentagon Sky. This is a first edition, first printing. And then a couple of years ago, they actually published a few of these trade paperback editions in these blue flashlight hardcover editions. So I've been trying to pick up these. There's still quite a few that I'm missing. Here's another example. I have my first edition, first printing of book number 62, The Ape Man's Secret, as well as the hardcover edition that was published a few years ago. I have 3 different editions of The Mummy's Case. So I have the first edition, first printing, as well as the second edition, and then the hardcover edition from a couple of years ago, which of course uses the same artwork from the first edition. Unfortunately though, they cropped out the mummy, as you can see. So in this one, you don't even notice that there's a mummy standing behind the Hardy Boys. In this edition, you get to see the full artwork. Here I have a hardcover edition of book number 64, Mystery of Smuggler's Cove, a hardcover edition of The Stone Idol, the original first edition, first printing of The Vanishing Thieves. It's book number 66, as well as the hardcover edition. And this is actually the last time they ever published any of the Hardy Boys books in hardcover. So the rest of the paperbacks here are all first edition, first printings. So we have number 67, The Outlaw Silver, number 71, Track of the Zombie, number 72, The Voodoo Plot, number 80, this is the Roaring River Mystery, number 86, Mystery of the Silver Star. All that's missing from this cover is E.T. perched on the handlebars. Number 92, The Shadow Killers. Number 108, Fear on Wheels. As you can see, the covers are getting a little crazier by the year. The Prime Time Crime, that's 109. Jumping all the way to 128, we have Day of the Dinosaur. Crazier and crazier. Obviously, I am missing a lot of books from the series, so I'm still hunting down first editions. I'm just picking them up when I can find them for cheap. Number 129, The Treasure at Dolphin Bay. This is where the covers started getting very, very 90s. So we have The Mark of the Blue Tattoo, number 146. This was published in Let's see, 1997. It definitely looks 1997 to me. This is actually an old library edition, so I would like to get a nicer copy of this eventually. I do have a really nice copy of number 160 though. This is a game called Chaos, and this is the last time they actually ever used this cover design, because for number 161 they switched over to this design. So we have Training for Trouble. 162, The End of the Trail. 164, this is called Skin and Bones. 175, Trick or Trouble. So this is a Halloween edition. Number 180, Typhoon Island. 183, Warehouse Rumble. Those are all of the Hardy Boys books I have from the original canon series. And now we're moving on to just some of the other Hardy Boys series that I own. Here I have Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys Super Mystery, number 2, Danger Overseas. So the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys Super Mystery series ran from the 80s into the 90s, and then it was over for a really long time until like 2008 when they brought the series back and started doing new editions. So this is actually from the reboot series. This is from an even earlier series where the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys teamed up. So we have Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys Super Sleuths, and this is actually a collection of 7 short mysteries. This was published in 1984. It is the first edition, and it has this really cool little advertisement on the bottom. It says compliments of Walden Books and Kool-Aid. And then on the back you have join the club, Walden Books Children's Happy Birthday Club, which I totally would have joined when I was a kid. I wasn't alive in 1984, obviously, but if I had been, I would have joined that club because I loved Walden Books. Here we have the first edition, first printing of the Hardy Boys Ghost Stories. It's a short story collection. Here we have a couple of books that are TV tie-ins. This is from the 70s Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys TV show, which was really, really good, by the way, if you haven't seen it. They're actually the same exact books, they just have different covers. Next, we're going to take a look at my Hardy Boys Case Files books. These books are from the mid-80s all the way through the 90s, and these were some of my favorite Hardy Boys books growing up. I read dozens and dozens of these things. So here we have a couple of the hardcover weekly readers books. These are part of the Just for Boys series. So we have Collision Course and Death Game. There were only a couple of these printed. Most of the books were published in mass market paperback form, which are these editions right here. So we have book number 2, Evil Inc. We have book number 3, Cult of Crime. Number 24, Scene of the Crime. Number 27, Nowhere to Run. These books definitely took on a much darker, serious tone than the original series. This is Fright Waves. As you can tell, I'm missing a lot of books from this series. Number 45, In Self-Defense. Number 46, Foul Play, which is yet another error edition. This is completely blank inside. Can't wait to read this one. Here we have number 47. This is Flight into Danger. Number 52, Uncivil War. Number 57, Terror on Track. 64, Endangered Species. Number 69, Mayhem in Motion. Number 71, Real Horror. That's one that I have not read yet, but I am very excited to because it looks really spooky. It's actually about a horror writer, so that's really cool. Another one that I haven't read yet, but I'm very excited to. This is number 80, Dead of Night. This one takes place on Halloween. Number 99, Frame Up. And then I also have 4 of these oversized, large font hardcover editions. These were actually meant to be library editions, though they don't have any library markings at all. So that's cool. I think the first 10 books of the series were published in these editions. So we have number 3, Cult of Crime. Number 6, The Crowning Terror. Number 8, See No Evil. And number 9, The Genius Thieves. Next, I have all of my Nancy Drew Hardy Boys Super Mysteries. These started in 1988. I have the first book. This is a first edition, first printing. It's called Double Crossing. I think there are around 35 books in the series. I certainly don't have all of them. I think I only have 10 or 13. So here is The Last Resort, The Paris Connection, Best of Enemies, High Survival, New Year's Evil, Spies and Lies, Courting Disaster, Desperate Measures, Passport to Danger, Danger Down Under, and Dead on Arrival. And I also have this box set of the Hardy Boys Undercover Brothers series. This series was from looks like 2005, 2007. So this includes the first 8 books in that series. I haven't read these. I don't know if they're any good or not. And those are all of the Hardy Boys books. But right now we're going to take a look at all of my Nancy Drew books, which my Nancy Drew collection is actually a little bit bigger than my Hardy Boys collection. I don't really own a lot of Hardy Boys. I love the Hardy Boys and I want to build up my collection a whole lot more than this. But I mostly focus on Nancy Drew just because, I don't know, I like Nancy Drew just a little bit more, I think. First, I have this Nancy Drew box of postcards. This is something that I found a few years ago when I was collecting, and I just thought it was cool. It's kind of a novelty thing. Very similar to that, I have this Nancy Drew book of magnetic postcards. This actually includes a lot of the original cover art. Don't know why the postcards are magnetic, but they are. Starting off, I have 4 different editions of The Secret of the Old Clock. Now, back when I first started collecting Nancy Drew, I just wanted them all because there is this collector named Jen Fisher. You can look up her website, which is thenancydrewsleuth.com. She has the biggest collection of Nancy Drew books in the world, and she has pretty much every single edition of every book. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to collect everything. Now I collect a little bit of everything when it comes to just books in general. I have a huge horror collection, and that's where I've been putting a lot of my time and effort for the past several years. My focus has been off of Nancy Drew for a while, but I'm kind of wanting to get back into collecting it again. And I think I'm going to refine my search to just first editions of all of the Applewood reprints, first editions of all of the books after that. I don't want to collect a bunch of extra editions and just have my shelves bursting with Nancy Drew. As much as I would like to do that, I just don't have the space or the money because it's a very expensive hobby. So we're starting off with Secret of the Old Clock. I have the newer edition. This was a Target exclusive of Secret of the Old Clock. It's a cool cover, but I don't know. I don't think I need this. I'll probably end up selling it off eventually. I have the first printing of the Applewood edition published in 1991. And then I have the Applewood leather-bound edition. This was limited to 100 copies. I got this about, I'd say about 10 years ago off of eBay. I think I spent around $75, which was a very good deal at the time. I don't know how much this is worth now. I don't know how rare this is. I actually just emailed Jen Fisher asking her about it because I would kind of like to sell this eventually and just put the money toward getting other editions for my collection because I don't really need this. And I think there's probably somebody out there who is dying to get a hold of this. Here we have book number 2, the yellow flashlight edition, Hidden Staircase, one of my favorite books in the series. Next we have book number 3, The Bungalow Mystery. Number 4, Mystery at Lilac Inn. 2 different editions of The Secret of Shadow Ranch. So we have the flashlight edition that I've had since I was a kid and the Applewood first printing. Very nice cover on that one. I love that cover. I just love how this lady in the background is frolicking through this field about to beat this kid or something. It's just really pleasant. And next up we have number 9, The Sign of the Twisted Candles. Number 10, Password to Larkspur Lane. Number 11, The Clue of the Broken Locket. Number 12, Message in the Hollow Oak. Number 14, The Whispering Statue. 2 editions of number 15, The Haunted Bridge. We have the yellow flashlight edition, which has the revised text, and this first printing of the picture cover version, as they called them. And they called them picture covers because they had the picture printed right on the cover. There was no dust jacket. So this is the first printing of that, and it does include the original text, which is really cool. Here I have 3 different editions of number 21, Secret in the Old Attic. We have the first printing of the picture cover version, which has the original text, as well as the Applewood first printing that has the original text. Here I have 2 editions of book 22, The Clue in the Crumbling Wall. So we have my original edition from when I was a kid, and what I thought originally when I bought it was a first printing, and it's actually not. It's actually like a second or third printing. Next we have book number 23, Mystery of the Tolling Bell. Number 24, The Clue in the Old Album. 25, The Ghost of Blackwood Hall, one of my favorite ones growing up. I loved this book so much. Here we have The Clue of the Leaning Chimney. This is book number 26. It is a first edition, first printing. And it's not in the best of shape. It's definitely seen better days, but it's still nice to have a first printing of such a scarce book. The Clue of the Black Keys. This is book number 28, and this is a first picture cover printing. Number 27, The Secret of the Wooden Lady. Oh, by the way, I totally forgot. I do have a couple more of these steampunk looking books. So here we have Mystery at Lilac Inn, book number 4. I think this is book number 6, The Clue in the Diary, and book number 8, Nancy's Mysterious Letter. Here is number 30, The Clue of the Velvet Mask. This is a first edition, first printing, in very, very nice condition. This is much better than my last one that I showed you. I just love that tweed cover. It just looks so, so nice. And look at that spine. So good. And the end papers too are really, really nice. Another beautiful first edition, first printing. We have the Scarlet Slipper Mystery. This is number 32. It's in fantastic condition. They changed the end papers by this point. This is considered the digger end papers, considering there's a man digging a hole. A flawless first edition, first printing of the witch tree symbol. This is number 33. It's in perfect condition. Like, even the dust jacket, there's anywhere to be seen. So much so that I thought when I got this in the mail, like, is this a facsimile dust jacket? But it seems to be legit to me, and the seller claimed that it was. So I'm guessing that the dust jacket is original. So that's really cool. Next is a first edition, first printing of number 35, The Haunted Showboat. Not in the best condition. There is quite a bit of wear on the dust jacket, but it's still a nice book overall. Another first edition, first printing, The Secret of the Golden Pavilion, number 36. Here is a first picture cover printing of The Clue in the Old Stagecoach. It's number 37. A first edition, first printing of number 39, The Clue of the Dancing Puppet. So starting at this book in the series, they ditched the dust jackets and just started doing the picture cover editions. And then I believe all of the rest of these are first edition, first printings. So we have the Moonstone Castle Mystery, The Phantom of Pine Hill, The Mystery of the 99 Steps, The Crooked Banister, a wacky cover on that one, The Secret of Mirror Bay. This one you can tell is a first printing because the picture on the back is not in black and white. It kind of has this yellow tinge to it. It really should look like this. Number 52, The Secret of the Forgotten City. Number 51, The Mystery of the Glowing Eye. This is not a first edition. This is just the glossy flashlight edition. Number 54, The Strange Message in the Parchment. And then I have The Mystery of Crocodile Island, also a first edition. Next, we have not a first edition. This is number 17 in the series. It's actually a UK edition. So we have The Clue of the Tapping Heels. I found this at a library book sale. Just thought it was interesting that it was a UK edition. Some other editions of the original Nancy Drew series that I own. I have this 3-volume bind-up, I guess you could say, of the first 3 Nancy Drew books. And then I have 2 of these editions. These are the twin thrillers, and this was basically a set of books. In each book, there are 2 different Nancy Drew books. These are really nice editions. They all match each other very nicely on the shelf. I was thinking of getting a full set of these, but I don't know if I have the room for it. Okay, I had to move the camera down so that way you can see the other shelves, and then I have a few more shelves below this, so I'll move the camera down in a minute, and then for the last part of the video, I'll be on camera again. But I wanted to show you all of the books I have in the Nancy Drew Files series, which was very much like the Hardy Boys Case Files. Sorry, get that in frame. So the Hardy Boys Case Files and the Nancy Drew Files both ran at the same time for about the same amount of books. So here we have case number 2, Deadly Intent. Number 12, Fatal Ransom. Number 13, Wings of Fear. Number 14, This Side of Evil. Of course, the Hardy Boys Case Files had a much more action look. Nancy Drew Files had a lot more of that romancy vibe. Number 19, Sisters in Crime. Number 20, Very Deadly Yours. Number 21, Recipe for Murder. Sinister Paradise. Till Death Do Us Fart. Ha, kidding, part. Just making sure you're still awake. The Black Widow. Pure Poison. 35, Bad Medicine. 38, The Final Scene, which was one of the computer games. A Halloween edition. This is Something to Hide. False Impressions. Scent of Danger. Portrait in Crime. A Model Crime. Danger for Hire. Cold as Ice. Don't Look Twice. Make No Mistake. Hot Pursuit. Making Waves. Sea of Suspicion. 99, this is where the series took on a total romance look. So this is The Cheating Heart. Number 104, Kiss and Tell. 109, Love Notes. And that is the last Nancy Drew Files book that I own. I do have one book in the River Heights series. This is number 5, Between the Lines, which was about Nancy Drew's hometown of River Heights, but it wasn't actually about Nancy Drew. I think she only makes like one appearance in these books. Another Nancy Drew spinoff was the Nancy Drew on Campus series. This is when she goes to college, and it's not really a mystery series as much as it is just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, which is really weird for Nancy Drew, but there you have it. They were out of ideas at this point. Here we have number 10, Party Weekend. Number 11, In the Name of Love. Don't worry, I am going to get to some better Nancy Drew books after this. This is just a very low point in the Nancy Drew series. So we have number 12, Just the Two of Us. Number 15, Loving and Losing. Number 16, Going Home. 17, New Beginnings. 18, Keeping Secrets. 20, Jealous Feelings. Ugh, these look so bad. 25, Otherwise Engaged. And the last Nancy Drew on Campus that I own is number 25, Snowbound. Thank Jesus that's over. I also have this Nancy Drew official handbook, which is basically just a bunch of like life tips from the girl detective herself. Here's another kind of like life tips book from Nancy Drew, Clues for Real Life, the classic wit and wisdom of Nancy Drew. Here I have a couple of Nancy Drew Files hardcovers. So we have Vanishing Act and Swiss Secrets. Of course, I already showed you all of these. So now we are going down to my Nancy Drew trade editions. So this is number 61 in the original series, The Swami's Ring. Number 62, The Kachina Doll Mystery. Number 80, The Case of the Disappearing Diamonds. Here is a box set, a gift set as it says, of 4 different books in the series, 103, 104, 105, and 106. It's still sealed. And here is number 110, The Nutcracker Ballet Mystery. And moving down to the bottom few shelves, we have the rest of my Nancy Drew books, as well as some miscellaneous girl detective mysteries. Now we're continuing on with the trade paperback versions. So we have The Secret at Solaire, that's 111 in the series. Number 116, The Case of the Twin Teddy Bears. The Trouble at Lake Tahoe. The Fortune Teller's Secret. Message in the Haunted Mansion. The Clue on the Silver Screen, that's 123. Then I have book number 83, The Case of the Vanishing Veil. This is the newer edition of this book. 134, The Secret of the Forgotten Cave. The Door-to-Door Deception. The Email Mystery. You can definitely tell what time period this is from. The Ghost of the Lantern Lady. The Chocolate-Covered Contest. The Clue on the Crystal Dove. The Crime Lab Case. That's 165 of the original series. 165 books, geez. And then I have a couple of books from the Nancy Drew notebooks. This was a series of books for much, much younger kids. So here's number 5, The Soccer Shoe Clue, and number 12, The Puppy Problem. Here are a few of the Nancy Drew girl detective novellas. So we have number 3, The Haunted Dollhouse, number 17, Night of the Living Chachk, something, and number 18, City Under the Basement. Here is a hardcover reprint of the Nancy Drew sleuth book, Clues to Good Sleuthing, the Nancy Drew Diaries series. This is the latest Nancy Drew series, and I've been collecting all of the hardcovers whenever I can find them on sale, but I haven't actually read any of these yet. I still need to read some. So Nancy Drew fans out there, is this series any good? Did I buy all of these for no reason? Nancy Drew Girl Detective books, which was the series right before the Nancy Drew Diaries. So we have Without a Trace, number 1, A Race Against Time, number 2, number 3, False Notes, number 4, High Risk, number 13, Trade, Win, Danger, number 36, Model Crime. We're jumping way far ahead in the series now. 37, Model Menace, 38, Model Suspect, 44, Sabotage Surrender, and then we have the super mystery, number 2, Once Upon a Crime. And the very last Nancy Drew book is the Nancy Drew 2007 movie novelization. I also have a couple of Boxcar Children books. I used to have a whole bunch more, and then I sold them, and now I'm regretting it because I love the Boxcar Children, and I've been wanting to reread them. So here we have the only 2 that I've been able to find since I got rid of my last ones. So here is the Spring Special, number 2, Mystery in Washington, D.C., and number 40 in the series, the Canoe Trip Mystery. Here are a couple of random mysteries. I have a couple of the books in the Ginny Dean science fiction mysteries. A Kim Aldridge mystery. This is Miscalculated Risk. It's from Whitman. And then we have, let's see, a Brett King mystery. This is the second book, The Secret at Hermit's Peak. This is a very beat up copy. Obviously, it's missing the dust jacket. It's missing some pages. But I don't know, this is like a Western mystery for young boys at the time. Now we're moving on down to this final shelf, and then I'm going to move back up and look at some of the other books on my top shelf. I'm going to show you the Annette mysteries. These were published by Walt Disney in collaboration with Whitman. So we have Annette, the Desert Inn mystery, and Mystery at Medicine Wheel. We also have this other Whitman mystery series. This is kind of a Hardy Boys ripoff, The Power Boys, Mystery of the Flying Skeleton. A few of the Donna Parker books. These were all published by Whitman in the 50s and 60s. So we have Mystery at Arawak, Donna Parker at Cherrydale, Donna Parker on Her Own, and Donna Parker Special Agent. Next we have a couple of Judy Bolton books. These were published in the 30s, 40s, 50s. So this is the Applewood reprint of the second book in the series, The Haunted Attic. And here is a first edition, first printing of number 12 in the series, The Midnight Visitor. A very beautiful copy. Can't believe I was able to get a first printing of this for such a good price. And then here's number 25 in the series, The Haunted Road. Not a first edition, just an older copy that a friend of mine sent me. And then I have several books in the Beverly Gray series, published by Grosset and Dunlap through the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So we have number 14, I believe, Beverly Gray's Adventure. This is a first edition. It is also a wartime book, as you can see right here. Number 18 in the series, Beverly Gray's Mystery. These are all first edition. Beverly Gray's Vacation, another beautiful book. Number 20, Beverly Gray's Fortune. And the very final book, Beverly Gray's Surprise. It's the only edition that was published without a dust jacket. Here is a first edition, first printing of a Dana Girls book. This is, I don't even know, the dust jacket is ripped, so I can't really tell what number it is. This is The Secret in the Old Well, written by Carolyn Keene, who wrote the Nancy Drew series. Here are a couple more Dana Girls mysteries. So we have the Sierra Gold mystery, and then The Secret of the Minstrel's Guitar. This is a first edition. And I just have some random mysteries. Here are a couple of my Wishbone mysteries that I had when I was a kid, and I still have them. Likewise, here are a couple of my A to Z mysteries that I had when I was young. Mystery at Kittiwake Bay, The Westing Game, a classic book. A couple books of the Hercule Jones mystery series, Tarot Says Beware and The Dark Stairs, and this really old copy of Mystery of the Five Bright Keys. I don't know what this book is exactly, just a random mystery, I guess. I don't think this is part of a series. This was published in 1946. All right, so now that I showed you all of those books, I'm going to move back on up to this top shelf. It's just a random assortment of books. So I have 3 books from the Happy Hollister series. This is a series that ran for quite a long while. I think there are about 30 books in the series. There might be more. The Happy Hollisters and the Castle Rock Mystery, Happy Hollisters and the Secret Fort, and the Happy Hollisters and the Whistle Pig Mystery. I don't have all of the books. Obviously, I only have these 3, but I would like to collect the rest of these. I also have 4 books in the Alfred Hitchcock and the 3 Investigators series. I would really like to collect first editions of all of these. Some of them are really hard to find and very, very expensive, but I have managed to find a couple. So here we have book number 18 in the series, The Mystery of the Shrinking House. Next is my first edition, first printing of The Secret of Phantom Lake. Just look at that cover. So good. So here's number 25, first printing, Mystery of the Dancing Devil. And then I have a UK paperback edition of number 29, The Mystery of the Sinister Scarecrow. Just look at that. So cool. Next, I have 3 books in the Robin Kane mystery series. This was published by Whitman in the late 60s to early 70s. So we have Robin Kane, book number 1, Mystery of the Blue Pelican, number 2, Mystery of the Phantom, and number 6, The Monster at Wolf Point. I have several books in the Meg series. This was another girl mystery series. So I have 3 of the original hardcover editions published by Whitman. So here is, I think, the first book. No, this is the second book, actually. Secret of the Witch's Stairway. Number 4, The Ghost of Hidden Springs. And number 5, The Mystery at Black Magic Cave. Then I also have several of the paperback reprints. So here is book number 2, The Secret of the Witch's Stairway. Book number 3, The Treasure Nobody Saw. Book number 4, The Ghost of Hidden Springs. Number 5, Mystery at Black Magic Cave. And number 6, Mystery in Williamsburg. I believe there are only 6 books in the series. Next, we're going to be taking a look at all of my Trixie Belden books. First, I have a couple of the much older editions. So we have number 1. This is The Secret of the Mansion. This was published by Golden Press. And then here's book number 14 in the series. This is also one of the deluxe editions. And then I have book number 2, which is the Red Trailer Mystery. This is the Whitman edition, and I really, really love these Whitman cameo editions, as they're called, because they have a cameo here of Trixie Belden. These editions are just, I really like them. They're really nice. They look really nice on the shelf. I've seen pictures of all of them put together side by side, and I just want a complete set because the colors are really nice. I love these covers the most. I would like to get a nicer one of this eventually, and then collect all 13 volumes because the first 13 books were printed in these editions. I also have a couple of these editions here. These are considered the uglies by collectors, and I would have to agree. Look at those covers. And then much, much later in the series, the books are only available in these paperback editions. So we have number 26, The Mystery of the Headless Horseman. Number 25, The Sasquatch Mystery. Number 27, The Ghostly Galleon. Book number 32, The Whispering Witch. And book number 33, The Vanishing Victim. And then I also have a much, much later reprint of book number 2, The Red Trailer Mystery. Next is a book by Julie Campbell, who is the creator of the Trixie Belden books. I think she wrote the first 6 or 8 books. I can't remember for sure. But she also wrote a series called Jenny Gordon. I think there are only about 5 books in the series. This is book number 2. This is called The Missing Heirloom. And this is a really nice first edition published by Whitman. I just love the end papers on that. And then also the actual naked book itself is really, really nice. Next, I have all of my Bobbsey Twins books. Now, Bobbsey Twins went on for like 50 books or something. It's a big, long series. I only have a couple. 2 different editions of this one here. So originally, it was just called Bobbsey Twins at the Seashore. And then later on, they revised the books, and this was retitled as The Secret at the Seashore. Here I have 2 different editions of number 5 in the series. This is The Mystery at Snow Lodge. I have 2 more classic editions. So here is number 4, Mystery at School, and number 10, The Bobbsey Twins on Blueberry Island. An older copy of number 18, The Bobbsey Twins in the Playhouse Secret. And then I have a first edition, first printing of The Bobbsey Twins at Sugar Maple Hill. And that is all I have to show you for my Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys collection. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do a lot of videos about vintage books, and I would like to start featuring Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys on my channel a little more often. I'd especially like to go back and read the original texts of all of the original Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys books, and then read the revised versions and kind of do comparisons as I read. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can subscribe for weekly videos. And of course, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for all your support. Please remember to give me a like down below, and I will catch you in the next episode of Library Macabre. Later, creeps.